Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show. Well, we're going on a trail ride today. Sadie and me, and Semi and Sarah. And what's different about this trail ride, besides just being a trail riding review show, is it's the first trail ride that I've gone on since my hip replacement, which was done in July, and this is now the end of November. I have been riding here around Shadrack Farms, doing a number of different things, in astride saddles, inside saddles, on the ground, handling my horses, handling my cows, four-cart work, etc. Always as carefully as I possibly can be. But you know what? To me, I'm Sonia Sokolow, the Urban Cowgirl, who does ranch horse versatility and have for decades. To me, trail riding is the most challenging because there are infinitely many spooky objects and spooky situations possible. There's very little control for the rider to when they're out on a trail, out in a preserve, out in a mountain, around a lake, whatever. So we're going today to a familiar trail, a short trail, but it requires some road riding as well. This is an urban rural setting, and I on purpose chose Sadie for this first trail ride after my hip replacement because she's been, knock on wood, my best trail horse. While she pays attention, she doesn't tend to spook. She does get a little bit stubborn sometimes, and therefore I brought a tool, easy to hang on my saddle, a riding crop. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take it off so it's handy. Timeliness is important. So it's handy if I need it. And Semi's coming in the arena. Whoa, whoa, back. We're going to go out the back gate. I'm bringing Kyle on foot along, and he has a cell phone in case there's trouble. I can get up on a horse now, but I have to do it slowly. I carefully lift my right leg over the back of the saddle. If I have to get off, or I'm forced off, or fall off on the trail, I'm a little bit concerned. I will be quite honest with everybody. I'm still concerned I haven't regained my confidence, so I'm trying to do that today. We're going to turn off the camera, and when there's something to say, something to show you, a concern that I have, or a good feeling that I have, or something nice that Sadie or Semi are doing, we'll turn the camera back on. We're trying to give you an idea what this first ride after my hip replacement is all about. Well, we're going down an asphalt road that has a kind of an incline, but neither of my horses have shoes on, so I'm not worried about us slipping. We're going down Refugio Road, which I have a back gate, several back gates out for my farm, my ranch, Shadrack Farms. And you can see that there's white vinyl fences, there's expansive pasture grass. No horses here, though, because this is city property. And unless you are grandfathered in, I don't think the Santa Cruz City allows horses anymore, but it's a beautiful surrounding backyard to this house that's at the corner of Meter and Refugio. There were times when my horses were young that even the white fences scared them. And another thing that scared them is this water valve coming up. It's a big, red, thick jobby, needed because there are so many houses up the street. It's not just for one single family dwelling. And there's also a garbage can. My horses have spooked of garbage cans that were here too at the corner. I'm just remembering, wondering, are they going to find these objects spooky? So far, so good. Now we're going up Meter. Now Meter looks like a quiet country road. It is asphalted, however, and I'm going to have my cameraman look here to my right. Here is a drainage ditch. And, if cars or trucks come down this road while we're riding, we have to kind of have a defensive plan. Where are we going to go with our horses if we're not near a driveway and they're afraid of the sounds or the sights? and maybe the driver won't be particularly courteous. So I make note of the fact that on my right there's a drainage ditch, which is potentially dangerous. On my left right now there's some bushes, but up ahead there looks like a shoulder on the soil that I could use. Up ahead to my right there's a driveway, and it's got some spooky objects that the horses may be worried about. But I just kind of look around and say, what would I do if there were a spook? Because here we are, not on a trail, not in a preserve, not in a creek, on an asphalt road. Now to my left, there are some horses here. And once in a while, they do graze out here in this large pasture corral that's close to the road. And depending upon which horses, they'll come running up to the fence when they see a horse coming down the road, like we are coming down the road. That can be spooky to a horse. So, I'm aware of it from prior experience. My horses didn't seem to worry about it, and therefore, I'm still relaxed, and so far, knock on wood, I'm enjoying myself on this first trail ride after my hip replacement. Now, my cameraman's going to look ahead, and then we're going to shut off the camera and go in. Moore Creek Preserve gate is ahead. Moore Creek Preserve has a short trail for horses, and the whole area isn't fenced. It isn't cliffy. There are some backyards there and some horse corrals there that we have to worry about. But I like it for a short ride with my horses, because it's a very, very pleasant place to be, and it has a view of the ocean. And maybe in our way back, I'll show you that view. So we're going to close the camera now, and hope to turn it on again to show you some pleasant stuff on this trail ride.
Well, actually, it might be a coyote now that it's zoomed in, but yeah.
There are infinite many spooky objects possible on trail riding. Well, we weren't sure from a distance whether it's a coyote, a mountain lion, or a bobcat. Now, what do you think it is, Kyle?
I think it's a coyote.
Okay, if it were a mountain lion, I would choose not to go forward because mountain lions are very dangerous around horses, can attack by jumping on their backs, and I wouldn't want our horses to do what a horse would naturally do if they sensed a mountain lion, and that is flee. They flee when they're worried. Okay, there are dogs here, there are bobcats here. Bobcats will not jump on the back of a horse. As far as I know, coyotes are pretty passive. They'll kind of disappear in the bushes. So I'm not too concerned. But there was one potential spooky object that if it were a mountain lion, and we do have them around here, this is near UCS, I would have avoided a confrontation. Okay, we're going to move on. We'll turn the camera off and turn it back on if there's something else to show you. Here we are at a horse corral where there's 3 horses on the fence. They came a-running like I said they might. So far, Sadie, she's chomping on her bit. Semi was a little antsy, but we're just going to walk on. We hope this is not going to be a spooky event. It's all right, girls. It's all right. It's all right. I like to talk to them. Horses are running. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Good girl. Good girl. Now, Semi seems to be doing okay. She's aware. Semi's our leader. There is some building going on here to my right. I think it's some kind of a commercial venture for olive oil or something. So there's some tractors and mounds of dirt and a number of different buildings. It used to be, by the way, all pasture grass, and I have many a show that shows that from years back. But development goes on. And this is as far as we can go because we have a cross fence here. But that was kind of a nice ride. On our way back, I want to show you the ocean and then deal with any spooky objects which occur on the way back. So we're gonna stop the camera and we'll turn it back on when there's something nice or something important to tell you. Well, there's a concrete swimming pool, and my horses have never seen one. And not only that, but there's somebody swimming in it on November 24th. It's been a rather mild winter. So I'm just letting them stand here, and I know they see it. There's a lot in the way, a fence and some foliage and so forth, but they're very aware of their peripheral vision, and I know they see something moving and probably even hear the splashing of the swimmer. So, another spooky object that I've never simulated yet at home. I try to simulate a lot of things, but never a concrete swimming pool. Okay, now we're gonna head back. All right, it's all right. You know what? Sadie did her first solo ride here at Moore Creek. And it just played yesterday on community TV. It was from 2008. This is 2012. And besides these horses scaring her, that fence that we're coming up to scared her. There may have been some sounds on the other side of it. And I'm gonna have the camera on while we walk by it. Are you feeling any concern from Semi?
She just doesn't want to stand still.
Oh, she just doesn't want to stand still. That's okay. Although, that's another thing you want to train your horse to do when you ask for it, stand still. But not now. Now we just want to see how Sadie's doing here with Sonia aboard, where she went for her first solo trail ride 4 years ago. Right here, this fence kind of scared her. And the rider at the time was Alexis. Walked up to the fence and let Sadie investigate, listen. Sadie showed some concern, but didn't do anything like bolt away, buck, or rear. So she got over it, but it was her nature to be concerned about a thing, we're just guessing, that there were sounds on the other side of the fence she had never heard before. Okay, we're going to open the camera up again when we're on the knoll to show you how beautiful is the ocean today. There it is. There's the beautiful ocean with the sunlight gleaming upon it. A very pleasant ride if you're riding a horse that isn't being spooky. And so far, I have to say that I am riding Sadie, who has learned a lot about trail riding. And please go back to my Urban Cowgirl shows. I have almost 800 of them up on the urbancowgirlchannel.com. Many of them are about how we have trained all three of my Morgans to be pleasant horses on a trail ride. Coming up. Look at the little flags coming up on my right. We're now going back down meter. Years ago, my horses were afraid of them, and we couldn't see them coming up meter. So now we're going down meter. There's an incline. This is asphalt. Is anybody going to spook by those little flags? Right here near the foot of the tree. There's a little bit of wind, and they're flying in the wind. There's some kind of markers for somebody, but you know, does a horse understand something that's flying in the wind that's orange on the ground where they're riding? Looks like they have no problem with it today, but if you look back on my trail riding videos from a while back, we did have to deal with those little flags as being spooky objects. Okay, we'll let you know if there are any more spooky objects, or there you go, there's some horsies in that corral that didn't come to the fence when we were coming up the road. Are they going to come to the fence? Looks like they have those bags that allow the horses to kind of eat slowly. I forgot what they're called. They're on the market now, hanging from the fence. So maybe the horses won't bother coming out this way. But we have had spooky situations on this road when the horses came charging up to the fence. It's all right, girls. It's all right. Good. One of them was thinking about charging and then went back to nibble on his hay instead. And Kyle, if you could look straightforward. You know, going one way is different from going another. We're going the opposite direction. There are other things to see, other obvious colors, livestock, bushes. If you've done it many, many times with the same horse, and you haven't just recuperated from hip replacement surgery, you can just kind of relax and mosey on down Meter Street. So we'll turn the camera back on again when we get closer to Shadrach Farms. Joe now. There's different things to notice going in this direction, which is northerly. Are the horses going to notice something, hear something, be worried about anything? On the left here, there's some deer fencing. I remember years ago when the contractors were out here installing it. It was a spooky object, these tall fences that are not white. They're wooden and wire, but the horses didn't understand them next to this white vinyl, shorter 5-foot fence. So we gave them the opportunity to gain confidence by doing it slowly, allowing them to investigate, doing it carefully, and doing it with repetition. Sammy and Sadie, looking relaxed, feeling relaxed. We're almost back home at Shadrach Farms. And then next time we do this ride, we're going to try to do it with all 3 horses because they love to be together. That's all for today. Sonia Sokolow, the Urban Cowgirl. A trail ride in Wilder across a creek. Sonia rides Eve and Sarah rides Sadie. Well, this is our next ride. My second ride after my hip replacement recuperation. And look what we have in front of us. A running creek. I'm riding Eve today. I'm gonna ask her to go across the creek, go on up the embankment, turn around and come back. And let's see how she does. And then behind me there's a log that Eve was good about stepping over on the way down to the creek. Will she step over on the way home? That's our question. That's our challenge today. I'm apprehensive because I don't want to fall off. I don't want to apply a lot of pressure on my legs right now. They did quite well after the ride yesterday when I was riding Sadie, but let's see today. I'm looking ahead over the water. Good. She tried to stop and then she went. Recuperaion. Well, we're going back now. So far, so good. They seem to know they're going back. Eva's walking a little faster. Got to keep your eyes out on the branches, though. This is real trail. And look at this cliff here with a narrow trail. Very scary if a horse is unhappy. Pretty quiet now too, but very cliffy. the trail is wide enough to ride abreast. But because Sonia wanted to be especially careful on this second trail ride, she let Sarah and Sadie ride ahead. There were a lot of steep areas. There were a lot of fallen branches. Trail training at home includes a lot of branches and deadfall. I leave the deadfall on the ground, so it's more like a real trail in my obstacles area. The horses seem calm now. You agree, Sarah? I think they know they're going home. We're expecting some rain next week, but after the rain is over, we're going to be doing some more obstacles trail work in our obstacles area, including a log that we're going to ask Eve and Sadie to step over, a large log that was similar to the one by the creek. Oh, steep again. A private road that's not asphalted, a country road. The corridor that I just came down, Eve was good about it today. Years ago, she was very afraid to go down that corridor because it was on one side surrounded on that side by bushes. And Eve is my Morgan mare who is afraid of little things that hang out in bushes, like bunnies and lizards and so forth. But we can see that we got her over that. Now, she stepped over the log fine. Sadie, her daughter, who Sarah is riding right here, was resistant. Sadie has had that problem in the last, I'd say, 3 months. We're going to try to set up a log. We had a branch, a very large eucalyptus branch that fell down a few weeks ago. We're going to try to strip it of its branches off of that large branch, which is almost like a log. And we're going to try to set it up in our obstacles area in a safe place to simulate the log that's by the creek. Now, Eve went over the log fine. Sadie, again, was resistant and then finally jumped over it. So we're just going to make it so that she has confidence in us, and with repetition, we'll make it so that she won't even blink an eye when she comes to the log. And that's all for today. Sonia Sokolow, the Urban Cowgirl, with a trail riding review 5 months after my hip replacement. So if there's anybody out there who's a rider, who has had that surgery, this kind of video should give you confidence that you'll get better. Several months ago, Sadie was willing to jump the log at the Wilder Creek. Here is a brief clip showing her willingness. Because she showed resistance to going over the log a few days ago, we set up a log in our obstacles area so that we can practice with her before we go on the trail again.
It would be like 450 hours a month or something.
Uh-huh.
I know it's like 700 for that trailer kind of thing. So. Going over the log, huh? We are going to go over the log. We might have to do all this first.
Okay.
Come on, take your feet up.
Yay.
So here we are with our simulated log. We put it up on our balance beam so it's up off the ground a little more. The log that was at Wilder Creek was pretty high. She tended to jump over it when she did it. She could have walked over it, but she tended to jump over it. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a challenge to her today, but on purpose, I'm using a halter that doesn't have a metal clasp here. So if I have to do some demanding with the halter, I'm not going to be overdoing any kind of pressure under her chin. I have a white stick to help me encourage her. I have a helping her Scott to help me encourage her if she starts to veer off. So I'm going to try to go both directions. First, I'm going to go out here. Come on, Sadie. I'm going to go way out here. And no problem. I'll do it the other direction. It may be because I'm on the ground with this stick and because she knows that I am pretty particular with my requests that she can't get away with it. A couple days ago when we were at the Wilder Creek log, she wasn't willing. And now we're going to go back there with Sadie and make sure she'll do it. See more at www.urbancowgirlchannel.com.